Hey friends, and welcome to the channel. I'm Hayden, and this is HJC Games. I thought I'd make a quick intro video just to sort of tell you guys, what the channel was about, what kind of videos you could find on the channel, when you can find those videos uploaded, and where you could go to either learn more about us, support us further, or grab more content from us. And since my mom watches all my videos, and she knows everything about me, and she's seen all my content, I gotta do some sort of content in this video, so I guess there will be a Jumpstart series of pack openings at the end. Stay tuned for that. A little bit about me. I'm a former software engineer. That was, my entire career up until 2020 when I got just super burnt out, which, you look at how do you not get burnt out in 2020? And so I had to step away. I decided, leaving software engineering, I wanted to try my hand at streaming and YouTubing, especially on the card game front. And while I've only been playing MTG and other TCGs for really about the past 3 years, which isn't a lot of time for most people who've been in TCGs. Most people, it's been most of their lifetime. I put a bunch of time into the game. I do a bunch of research. I listen to a bunch of podcasts. I watch a bunch of streams. I interact with OP, organized play, and I play a bunch myself. So I've picked up a few things along the way. And on this particular channel, we're going to have two focuses. The first one will be TCGs, and the second one will actually be Apex Legends. And while it doesn't seem that there's a lot of overlap between these two topics, A, these are my two interests, so we're just going to kind of have to deal with it. And B, I do actually think that there's a kind of a strategic element that is present in both games that the same type of player can interact with, can engage with, and can actually enjoy. So I think the audience overlap might be a little bit larger than you may think at first. So on the TCG front, we mostly focus on gambling around here. Wait, did I say gambling? I meant box openings. We focus on box openings. And the boxes we open are Magic boxes, Pokemon, Dragon Ball Super, whatever. If you have a box suggestion, leave it in the comments. I'm happy to check it out. And while doing the box openings, the big thing we're talking about musing on is the TCG market. Why is this a good box to buy? What's driving the actual price of this box? What cards in Standard are doing this? What bannings have led to the price dropping here? How is supply going? So on and so forth. These sort of nuts and bolts sort of conversations. In a nutshell, I want to make money off of TCGs, both through streaming and selling individual cards. And I want to bring you guys along with me. So we'll be talking about that whole sort of journey. Now, of course, that doesn't mean there won't be actual play videos. You should definitely expect to see MTG and PTCGO videos on here, mostly around either competitive laddering or drafting. In general, I'm a lot more of a netter than a builder when it comes to decks, so keep that in mind. But anytime there's a big, tournament or anything like that in open, I will certainly throw myself into it so you guys can see a little bit of the skill in the man behind the camera. Now, the next part of our channel is something that, it's a big part of all TCG players' lives. It's mail day. That's one of the best things we get is when we get new product in. So we have mail day videos as well. And then there's the Apex front. When it comes to Apex, I'm more of an average player. I'm not a pro. I don't have 10 hours a day to spend at the game. I'd certainly call myself good, and that's the type of player we're focusing on, is good players or newer. Our new video series, How to Apex, is designed to take a player who has literally never played a BR and bring you from 0 to 60 throughout the video series, getting you to a point where you are comfortably in gold. Gold's nothing crazy, I know, but gold is where the majority of the player base sort of lives at, and once we've gotten you to gold, we're going to set you up so you can go further beyond that. So if you have the time and the energy to grind, we'll help get you to platinum and beyond. The series itself is going to focus a lot on fundamentals, teachable patterns and lessons, and actual gameplay footage of me putting these fundamentals and patterns and lessons into play. Of course, there will be some fun side Apex content as well, some cool games, things like that. You can obviously expect that. On the schedule front, the TCG videos will come out on Mondays and Thursdays. Mail day videos are really just going to be totally random. It depends on what day I get a bunch of stuff in the mail. And the Apex videos, once the series itself starts, will be uploaded weekly on Wednesdays. If that is somehow not enough content for you, I do stream on Twitch. I stream at HJC__. That's 2 underscores. And I'm a late night EST streamer, talking like 11 to midnight EST. So come catch me there. I'll be mostly streaming Apex and Pokemon TCGO infrequently. Now, if you want to support the stream or the channel any further, You can always buy our cards on TCG Player and eBay at HJC Cards. That helps us a ton. Moving the sealed product means we can open more boxes, and that means we can make more content. But anyway, that's enough of me. You don't care anymore. You're done with the intro. You're done with the jibber jabber. You've come for Jumpstart. Let's do Jumpstart, okay? And with the magic of editing, appear here at the pack opening station. Pretty sweet, right? We've got the recall. The Ancestral Recall treated us so very, very well in our first few videos, despite the fact that I called it the Vision instead of the Recall, because I get those two cards confused because their art's similar. But anyway, today we have these. These are Jumpstart 4-packs. It's basically all you would need to play against someone for Jumpstart. So 12 packs total. We've got 3 of them. We got these from GameStop. And that's why we have this thing, the Ikoria White Theme Booster, which is what we're going to start with. That was one of those fun times where, because of capitalism, I bought more things and things got cheaper. So we just have this. This is almost assuredly going to have nothing good in it. Figured since this is... How do I open this? Coupled to the intro video, I would talk about my history with card games. So growing up, you know, I'm from the 90s. That's when I was born. So I grew up with... There is so much just extra packaging in here for absolutely no reason. So I grew up with the Pokemon trading card game. I didn't grow up with Magic. We just never kind of got into it. It was only Pokemon. But I never knew even how to play Pokemon. You know, I just collected the cards, if that. That's not worth anything. It's really pretty, but it's not worth anything. So I went most of my childhood not really knowing what a TCG properly is. And this all changed in, I think it was 2017, when, that's why. When, this was in WoW Legion. I met a good friend now. He got me into Magic. This was right around when Guilds was happening. This was November 2017. Or maybe that was 2018. I forget. Adaptive Shimmerer. And that, we started up a Guilds of Ravnica D&D session. The Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, which is a great supplement. And that was sort of what got me into Magic. Once I started doing all of that, ooh, Mutate card. So, I mean, since this happened during COVID, I never played with this set in paper. So I haven't seen many Mutate cards. And so the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica campaign really fucked this card in Limited. Fuck it so hard. This one too. Got me super excited to actually play Magic and to get into the card games. This was right when, just to be clear, this last few, oh my god, this last setup here, oh god, this is a nightmare. Just in terms of a draft, this is an absolute nightmare to go against. Like, what a curve. Flourishing Fox, Valiant Rescuer, cycle, grow the fox, make a token, cycle, grow the fox. Oh god, I'm having nightmares. Ikoria cycling draft. Oh lord, I think we're about to get to our rare, right? Which should be here. Oh, it's Draenith Magistrate. Funny enough, this is the most expensive white rare from the set. It really is. It actually is. I looked it up beforehand. Your opponents can't cast spells from anywhere other than their hands. And I think it's because of Commander. It's just an annoying sort of card. People thought it would get insta-banned in Commander and it would be a problem. It was not. Let's go to Jumpstart. But so yeah, that was around when Guilds was coming out and when Arena was still in its like open beta. And that's when I got into Magic. And man, I really got into Draft. Draft was what I fell in love with. I had played Hearthstone before that, and had kind of learned that I didn't really love constructed game modes. Just because, like I said earlier, I'm a net decker. I don't have the time or the patience to actually build decks. Angels. I don't know if this is a good one. I don't have the time or the patience to actually build decks, so I get bored with constructed. You know, I net deck something, I play it until I learn it, and then there's nothing new, and I'm done with it. Ooh, Linvala, Keeper of Silence. This is really good, folks, right off the bat. This is one of the top pulls in the set. Angelic Arbiter. Each one of you guys. Interesting. Oh, that's a cool setup. Nice. Nice. Sarah Angel, Guardian Idol. Things that don't really matter. Scroll of Avacyn. And your lands here. Here's the special planes. Got a bunch of feathers. Look at that. Very, very pretty. Put the Angels pack over here. And so I found, you know, I knew Arena from Hearthstone, but Arena's just not as good as Draft. And so then I found Draft when I opened up Magic Arena. When I said Arena in Hearthstone, I mean the game mode. What do we have here? Devilish. I don't know if this one's any good either. And Draft was just like, oh my god, that was my super hardcore entry drug into Magic. Once I found Draft, that was my like, oh my god, this card game is incredible. Zerzoth, Chaos Rider. I don't think he's worth anything. And from there, I attended my first ever pre-release for Allegiance. That's a cool mountain. And I remember making like a Simic, I think was it Adapt? What's the name of the mechanic? Made a Simic Adapt set. And then oh, this is one of the worst ones. That's rough. But we got a Linvala. That's good. But then I remember like really falling in love with Allegiance because of all of that. Oh my god. Where is the thing here? This one is so hard to open, folks. What? It like got broken. Oh my god. Hold on. This is a catastrophe. Luckily, it's not like an Elves pack, which would have been worth actual money. Ugh, we finally got there. I think Scarecrow is actually worth a little bit of money. And so I just fell in love with Allegiance Draft. I remember going to my first F&M after that. There you go. And drafting, you know, like, I think I was drafting only Simic Adapt decks for a little while, which, if you knew the meta at the time, wasn't the worst thing to do. And god, it was just something that was so new and so fun. It was the first time I had done paper cards, just getting the scent of cardboard going through you. Well read. This could have Rhystic Study in it. Let's go Rhystic Study. And it was just shuffling even. Shuffling became such a cool and interesting thing to learn. And I can actually remember when shuffling was like an issue for me. Nice. What a box. Linvala and Rhystic Study. Can't really complain with that. And I remember practicing shuffling. I remember getting... Nice. I love that land. I remember getting card sleeves and getting a random deck of cards and just sitting at my desk while playing World of Warcraft, shuffling, and trying to get better at it. And this was when I really got heavily into Arena and just started drafting like crazy. And I've got pretty decent at draft. I would say, you know, I'm not Luis Scott Vargas, but I'm also not terrible. I can learn a format pretty quickly. I get my fair share of 3-0s. I certainly get my fair share of 0-2 or 1-2s and 0-3s as well. You know, who doesn't? But let's see what we got here. Gonti's not worth anything. Thieves Guild Enforcer is actually worth a few bucks, so that's not super terrible. Where was I? And draft has sort of always been... I love this art too. So spooky. So shady. Draft has sort of always been my favorite part of Magic, and it still is. Hold on, guys. I gotta put the trash on the floor for future Hayden. And there have been some ups and downs in draft. I think a lot of that is with the digital platform. One of the ones my least favorite draft format I've ever encountered is Throne of Eldraine. And Legion, that one's really bad. And Throne of Eldraine, I hate it for a few reasons. First of all, Magic was in a bad place at the time. You know, Oko, you had all sorts of terrible standard decks. Field of the Dead just came out. So I was a little burnt out on Magic to begin with. At the time, here's your land. At the time, I was drafting on Arena. And if you'll recall, the draft bots for Eldraine were really broken, and they didn't ever take a single mill card or anything related to mill. So the only thing you ever saw on Arena were these another Devilish, were these turbo blue, or these turbo mill blue decks, and they were so miserable to play against, and they were everywhere. This is like the same pack. Then you felt like if you didn't draft exactly that deck, you were in a really bad spot. And that sucked. That sucked. Because then it felt like when you did draft the deck, you were in a great spot, and you would just tear through your opponents. So that was the draft format that, since I've started, I remember disliking. And I've heard from a lot of people that they actually love that format. And I think it's because they played it a lot more in paper. I couldn't because of work at the time. Or played it in Moto. So I think I'm just a little biased there. But that's something, you know, I'll recognize. My favorite draft format is probably Zendikar Rising. As much as I love Allegiance, Zendikar Rising, Vampires... I think there can be a good one in here with the Sanguine Blood or whatever. Exquisite Blood. Vito's not terrible. Silver Smoke's not terrible. Blood Artist isn't terrible. This actually is an alright one across the board. And as much as I love Ravnica Allegiance Draft, and I think it's a really good format that has a bunch of really valid archetypes. I think there's only one weak archetype that I kind of am blanking on right now. It's Dracula's Castle. Cool. Zendikar Rising is my favorite. And that's Spell Lands. Spell Lands are an amazing thing for Limited. You get to play so many more games, and you get to have so much more fun because of them. And that's just awesome. It really is. Last 4 packs. Last setup here. And the archetypes in Zendikar Rising are super awesome as well. Smashing. But since then, you know, my relationship with Magic has grown and changed a lot. I've gotten some of my other friends into Magic. I have a friend who's super into Jumpstart. And I love Jumpstart as a format. Jumpstart is so much fun. It's such a good way to get people into Magic. And I really wish it existed when I was still getting into Magic. Because it just would have been such a fun, easy way to learn and bring more people in. And it's a real shame that Jumpstart is so hard to get. And it's because of assholes like me. Look what I'm doing right here. That it's really hard to properly play it as a format as intended. And I'm sorry. That's on me. And that is a shame because it is a super cool format. Tree hugging. But it's also on Wizards for not having the, you know, the printer capacity to really keep up with demand, and for putting so many good, I don't think that's worth anything, for putting so many good reprints in here. You know, of course people are going to want this if there's a bunch of good reprints in here, and there's aggressively good, unique cards like Allosaurus Shepherd. Like, Wizards saw this coming. This was likely intentional on their side. Wizards doesn't care that the supply is low. That's great for Wizards. We care. Under the Sea. Man, that first set was fire. But since then, we have been struggling, folks. I don't think this is worth anything either. And, like I said, well, my journey started with Draft and, of course, the same old pre-release like everyone else did. It's kind of changed from there. I've been watching a lot more organized play lately, really gotten into Historic. I'm not a big fan of Standard. It's just kind of the play patterns and everything have been kind of boring to me lately, but I really like Historic. So I have gotten into Constructed formats as well. And of course, this got me into PTCGO. So it was one of those things where it was like Draft and Magic was a gateway drug to all of TCGs for me, which that was cool. And this was just about 2 years ago. And, you know, now here I am opening boxes, trying to start a channel. So I've come a long way since then, and I'm excited to be here. And God, please, I'm gonna let you guys see it first. So, didn't I just open that? Well, that's awful. It's the same thing. Ugh. So I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited for how that journey has kind of evolved and where it's taken me and where it's going to take me next. And I'm really excited to have you guys along for the ride with me. And I hope you're excited to come with me. I hope you've learned a little bit about the channel and about Hayden, the person. That's all I've got for you today. My journey through Magic, a little Jumpstart. I do have a Jumpstart box coming in, so there will be more Jumpstart content. Don't you worry about that. But until then, you know, friends, have a good night. I'll talk to you soon. Be good to one another.